Alright, so I've been looking for lighter RC equipment to use on smaller rubber powered jobs like this P30 over here. And here's basically what I found, okay? So for the receiver, I'm using a Lemon receiver. Alright, this is their ultralight version. It has these 1.5 millimeter JST plugs, and this is a full range receiver, alright? It's compatible with the Spectrum transmitter, which is what I have. And, so far I've been trying this in my Bob White Wakefield, and there's been no problems at all. It's been fine. I was a little worried because the antenna's small and it's actually inside the pylon. But so far I haven't had any problems whatsoever, all right? Now this only weighs 2 grams, so it's incredibly light. Very, very nice. And it's also incredibly inexpensive. It was actually less than $10, okay? Now, because this takes the JST connector 1.5 millimeter, I bought a bunch of them. You can get them online. It's actually pretty cheap. Alright, and so what I did is I got rid of the switch because the switch adds about another 2 grams. So I just put a JST on one side and an E-Flight plug on the other, so you can just plug the battery right in. Alright, and now that I have to unplug it every flight, I'll test the voltage on the battery and see how that holds up. Now another, I've been looking also for lighter servos. So what I started with was this, the digital DS35. Now this only weighs 3.5 grams. It's a very light servo. It has about 4 ounce per inch of torque. Okay, now I'm still using this on my Winterhawk 4 coupe. Alright, but I found for the larger planes, particularly the Corda and the Wakefield, it just wasn't powerful enough. Alright, and that's why I went over to the Diamond D47, which is right here. It's a little heavier, weighs about 4.7 grams, but this has 15 ounce per inch of torque, and so it's very, very powerful. Okay, so I'm using that as a guideline, so I basically want to get at least 4 ounce per inch. And what I'm using is this. This is the Hobby King HKM 282A, all right? Now, as you see it here, it only weighs 2.7 grams, so it's very, very light. And this is supposed to have a little over 7 ounce per inch of torque. So I think this is going to be okay. I put it in my P30 and we'll test it out. So now the whole system, the receiver, the battery connector, and the servo weighed 5.3 grams. I mean, it's incredibly light. Now if you use, this is the smallest battery I've been using, the 30 milliamp, this only weighs 1.4 grams, so the total system is only 6.7 grams, extremely light. However, I have to say, I'm not sure how long this will last. I know you can get at least about 20 minutes out of it. After that, I'm not sure. I'll find out as I fly the P30. If you want to play it safe, the 70 milliamp, which weighs 2.6 grams, a little bit heavier, but I know for a fact that you can get at least an hour, hour and a half of on time with this, okay? Now another one I've looked at is the Hobby King. This is the orange receiver. Here it is, also incredibly inexpensive, also less than like $10. And now the main difference here is this is not advertised as being full range. It's a Park Flyer. Park Flyer means you'll get anywhere from 300 feet to 900 feet, okay? Now, I did some reading online. I mean, if you look at things like RC groups, they have extensive discussion about this. Some people said they got the full 900 feet. Other people said they didn't. It depends in part on the transmitter as well. The transmitter I'm using is the Spectrum DX5 here, okay? And both of these receivers bound right away. There was no problems with that. Now, I've been using this on my Winterhawk 4, and so far so good. I haven't had any problems. I just want to do some more tests, and I'll let you know. All right. Now, again, this takes this 1.25 millimeter Molex, so I bought a bunch of these. You can see I used it for the battery connector. I actually also took my Hobby King altimeter, and I put one on the end there so I can plug this right in. So again, this whole system with the servo weighs about 5.3 grams. It's extremely light, okay? Also, it's pretty amazing. The servos were incredibly cheap. They were only like $4, and I'd recommend get a bunch of those because when you smack a tree or I've hit the cement, the receivers have never broken. They've been okay, but the servos tend to lock up. So it's good to have some spare servos around, all right? So I've got the servo, you can see, mounted in my P30. I'm going to go flying tomorrow and see how this goes. I think I'm going to, since I know this is full range, I think I'm going to make the Lemon my standard receiver now in all of my planes. And we'll see how the Hobby King goes. I got to get some more experience with it, and I'll let you know. Okay, so I'm really excited about this system. Incredibly light. I think you can use this on planes down to about 24-inch wingspan, which is really, really nice. All right, so just a quick follow-up. So the Lemon receiver has been great. I've been using this in my Bob White Wake. I got a half a dozen flights in yesterday, and it flew great. No problems at all, okay? Really happy with this, and it's only 2 grams. The servo I used in my P30 here, and that also worked great. I'm really happy with this. I think I'm going to try it in my coupes now because that's where I really need to save weight. All right. Now the orange receiver, I used this both in my Winterhawk 4, got a whole bunch of flights in there, and my P30. And so far, no problem whatsoever. I'm thrilled with it. It worked great. Yeah, with this tiny antenna, I was a little worried, but it's great. Okay, and you know, again, this also weighs only 2 grams. So at this point, I'm confident to say that up to about 400 feet, I've had no problem with range. Over that, I can't really say. Okay. Now the 30 milliamp battery has worked great. All right, I'm still a little cautious with this. I think you can get 20 or 30 minutes, which is 2 or 3 flights. After that, I'd change the battery. Okay. If you want to play it safe, the 70 milliamp, well, you can get at least an hour or more on time. I know that, and so that one you don't have to worry about as much. Okay. So I'm really excited about this system, very light. We're talking under 6 grams now. All right, I've been using my altimeters, why not? I've got the weight right down. And I think I'm gonna try possibly an even smaller plane.